Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere this is going to go live and be seen. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions. We are here at Memorial Day. Memorial Day, the day we remember those that went on before us that gave the ultimate sacrifice. My brothers and sisters, I salute you 100% because you gave the ultimate sacrifice. You paved the way for those of us here that are still here to have the freedoms to do what we want, to say what we want, to be who we want to be. But I appreciate each and every one of you out there that went before me, my grandfather included. Uh, he didn't die in service, but he did, pave the way for me and many of my comrades, friends, soldiers, brothers, and sisters did not make it back from a deployment on their next deployment, to be honest. So I want to salute them, and I appreciate each and every one of them for their sacrifice, ultimate sacrifice on this Memorial Day. It's not about the cookouts, it's not about the beer, but you go ahead and do that and have fun because you're not at work. Or some of you might be at work, who knows? Like if you work for Walmart, you're going to be at work, which is just, sad, but whatever. But anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you being here, showing up for the show on this rainy day here in Arkansas, where I am. It's been raining since about, what time was that? Probably about 11:40, midnight, somewhere in that range. How do I know? My dog woke me up. She's a coward when it comes to thunderstorms. No, I'm not popping a cold one. This is a popping a cold one of a V8 energy drink. So there you go. All right, so welcome to the show. We are here at Memorial Day, like the title says, and appreciate each and everybody being here. Yes, I am a veteran of the wars, not the super old wars, but something more recent. I was in Afghanistan from '07 or '06 to '07 on a 17-month deployment, and which meant 1 year boots on ground in Afghanistan. So, that was fun stuff. And with the IEDs and the gunfights and everything else we got into, and it is what it is. But that's neither here nor there. We're here to, talk about comic books, movies, all kinds of cool stuff. Even though it is Memorial Day, and we do remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, like I've already said at the beginning of the show, that gave the ultimate sacrifice and, are no longer with us. That is what Memorial Day is about. Um, so, if you would take a moment in your own way and remember those fallen, my brothers and sisters in arms. All right. So, it's raining. It's going to be raining until about 1 p.m., it says, for here. Giving us 94% chance of rain. I'm saying 100% because it is raining right now. Lots of lightning, lots of, I don't know about the wind, but it's definitely lightning and downpouring, and it's off and on. It's hit or miss how hard it's coming down, all that goody good stuff. But welcome to the show, everybody. Please like, share, and follow. And bring more of your friends in to watch the broadcast. All right. So, again, here we talk about comic books. We talk about movies. We talk about horror movies and sci-fi and comic book movies and TV shows. We talk about, all kinds of stuff. Apparently, Peter David, one of the great writers from The Incredible Hulk, and I met him in Dallas in 94, 96, somewhere in that range. I think it was 94, Dallas Fantasy Fair. But met him, actually rode the elevator with him and Peter David, George Perez. Just learned that he passed away yesterday. Um, at 68 years of age. He was young, so I don't know if he was battling with anything or not. But he is no longer with us. A great writer in the comic realm of things. Learned that Duck Dynasty father passed away as well, either yesterday or the day before. So there's two of your three. They always come in threes, or so they say when it's celebrity status. They come in waves. So we'll see who is the next one on the list to pass away here on yesterday. Not today on Memorial Day, but I'm sure there will be things that happen on Memorial Day that will not make it a very Memorial Day for some people. So don't drink and drive or any of that good stuff, and stay safe for your loved ones out there. If you do get out there and do some partying for this Memorial Day because you're not at work. So we need some topics to talk about, folks. We need some topics. We're always talking about, the new and upcoming stuff, like with Antarctic Press and things of that nature, and then my own works that I'm working on right now. I got a big canvas that I bought at a antique store. I think I got it for like $5 or something like that. But it's a huge canvas. It's of a beach scene with a family walking along the beach, or a mom and a dad, or something with a dog walking, or a young couple, I guess. Let's put it that way. And I'm gonna paint over that. It's not something I want in my house, but the I'm going to be painting one of my covers to my own personal book, comic book, on it, and so I'm looking forward to that because it's going to be cool. I've got all of my reference materials and things like that, plus my own drawings for this, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun, and it's just amazing to take somebody else's work, and cover it up. It's kind of like tattoo work. Whenever somebody covers up somebody else's tattoo, because that was a shit tattoo that I got. And I'm probably gonna have mine done the same way. Yes, I designed it. It's right here, my military tattoo, and I liked it back in the day, and I even gave the artiste, the tattooist, liberty to do what she wanted to on the tattoo. So I had it done in Hawaii, and she just followed directly what I had. She didn't give it any of her own flair or anything like that. So I was kind of disappointed, but I was happy to have it. All of that good stuff. So, but I might redo one, make it a little more cool looking, if you will, and go from there, and have it covered up. So I got a guy here in town that could probably do a good job on it. And yes, Taticus, I'm talking about you, brother. So that is something that I will look into to see, if it's something I want to do, and go from there. Yes, I'm using an X-Acto knife on my thumb because I've got a deep little cut right there. I'm just making sure that there's nothing inside of it because it's all itchy and stuff. It was from a rusty nail or rusty screw from some old deck boards. But I've had my tetanus shots, so don't worry. I'm good. All right. So, lots of stuff is happening around here. Um, Logo designs kicking out. Having to change some things on one of them again. Um, but that's all good. And then I'm going to be working on a massive 18 by 24 picture for someone that commissioned one. And then I've got a book deal that I'm working with the same guy I'm doing the logos for, and another comic book that I'm working on with another producer friend of mine, who a movie producer. He's got many uh, movies under his belt right now. He's a local producer. I've acted in some of his films, and I have, also lended my artistic talents to his movies as well. So there is that. And all of that being said, I'm looking forward to all of it because it is like, one thing after another is just hitting, 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 hitting. This is my rebuild year, if you will, for my company, 412 Productions. And, it's just like things are just falling into place, with it all. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get any of my new prints done yet. I haven't had a chance to get any of my new canvas prints done yet. I haven't had a chance to do this or do this, but or like get my new table covers done, get my new banners made. All those good things that are there just waiting to happen. You know, and it's just like I'm ready for it to all to happen, but I want it to be right as well. I don't want to make something and then be like, that's shit. Just like I did with my first logo, which you guys aren't seeing here because I'm not putting the green screen up anymore and all that stuff. I'm just letting you see my natural ugly ceiling right now because I'm still in the works of making it better. There could end up being a mural, like a Michelangelo up there or something. I saw somebody post something about Michelangelo. Yeah, sure, I'll paint your ceiling. And it says, and I'm just gonna have a whole bunch of wieners hanging all over the place. But true. I mean, most of his paintings had a wiener in it, out there for everybody to see. Well, not for everybody to see because they were about this big, you know. So it's just like I guess he drew what he saw. Now I don't know what I would put up there, but it would probably be something X Men related, 100%, and go from there because I'm an X Men fan. I'm an X Men fanatic. When it comes to it, 1963 Uncanny X Men, which started out as X Men and then went to Uncanny X Men. So if you want to test my knowledge, go for it on that end. But no, I've got several. I'm 19 issues away from having the entire 100 run right there. So I'm looking forward to getting all of those. And then that means I'll have X amount of issues thereafter. I've already got a line on the number 600, which they did not make it to 600. They were hoping to make it to 600, and why they stopped it in 2002, I will never know. But, and then now they're up to volume like 5 or 6 already on the Uncanny X Men, which is sad, you know. So it is not the same X Men I grew up with and loved from 1963 till 2002. But I am collecting all of the old Uncanny X Men, the 1963 run only. I do have a couple of covers from the newer stuff, just because I thought it was a cool cover and I wanted it, and that's the only reason that they're in my collection, is because I thought they were cool. It's not like I'm gonna rush out there and get the whole new runs of the volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, whatever. You know, if I want to do that, I'll just get the collected. I will get the trade paperback and be done with it. Which my comic book, will have a trade paperback as well. But welcome to the show, everybody. Please like, share, and follow. And please go up here and find my website. And once you're at my website, you'll find my 412 Productions, the Art of Monty Anderson logo, which is the alien logo with the starburst behind it. And right there, you can follow the rest of my socials, which goes Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you're already here on TikTok. So please go ahead and follow the rest of my socials right there. Excuse me on that note. Um, and so, as comic book conventions are going to be coming back for me, they're still out there for everybody else. But um, I decided to take this year off just because I wanted to. Again, I'm rebuilding my business and my brand, and I am. I wonder how far they got. In summer of 1997, they were planning DEF CON 4. This was DEF CON 3, which I was at. Got a lot of autographs in here, and I should pull out my other ones too that I've got in the other room that has all the bigger guests on it, like Jim Lee and things of that nature. Can I name 5 DDG songs? I don't even know who DDG is. Who the heck is DDG? I'm not up with this hip culture stuff. Give me some Guns N' Roses, some Motley Crue, some Poison, some, Slipknot, some Five Finger Death Punch, stuff like that. Who the heck is DDG? I'm sorry, I don't know who DDG is. And maybe I do, but I just don't know them by their abbreviation. So, leave those songs in the past, Unc. No, no. No, I listen to new stuff because I do have Sirius XM radio. And I always listen to new stuff on a regular basis. But what the heck is a DDG? I mean, seriously, give me their full title of their name. And I will never get rid of the old stuff because the old stuff is the best. So, sorry. I mean, just like, where are you? Right here. How about you get you some vinyl? I got to cover up this little shot down here. Some Guns N' Roses on vinyl. Guns N' Roses on vinyl. And they both have the band cover inside. Look him up, DDG. I will look him up later. I'm not going to look him up right at this moment. But it doesn't sound like something I'm going to listen to because it's if he only goes by DDG, then it's probably something I'm not going to listen to. I do listen to all realms of music except for country. I cannot stand country. That is not my bag. And I'm sure he isn't country. It's his initials to his name, Unc. Okay. I mean, I get that. And I am I probably wouldn't listen to him. Like I said, I do have Sirius XM radio, and I get all the channels and all the peoples, and uh, and I'm not saying that he's country and all that good stuff. Well, bye, whoever you were, CS Tump or whatever you were. So, but I'm sure he's on there too. I'm not blocking you, so okay, that's cool. I don't know who's blocking and reporting who here, but that ain't happening here. And deported. Wow. Okay. How do you deport somebody on TikTok? That's amazing. But anyway, we are looking forward to all of the rebuild that's happening this year. And no, I can't name anything that Cardi B sings. I'm sorry. And no, Cardi B, I'm not a big fan of Cardi B either. So sorry. Like I said, give me my heavy metal, my thrash metal, all those good things, and we're good. Death metal. Yeah, get it. Okay, I'm glad she's your wife, but I still don't like her. I don't like her music. Sorry. I mean, if she's your wife, congratulations. I didn't think she was married, but whatever. I don't keep up with all the politics when it comes to who's married to who in the industry. No, 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 no. When it comes to music, I listen to everything but country. I seriously listen to every. I mean, I'll listen to Bach and Beethoven and all that good stuff, but I just don't listen to country. So, you know. But my show is about everything, all encompassing. From comics to my artwork and my comic books. And no, I listen to rap. I just don't listen to all rap because not all rap is worthy of listening to. I mean, I'm just saying. And I don't know all these new hip generational abbreviated people, you know, and I'm good with that. But no, this is my rebuild year for my business, and I'm happy with it because a lot of stuff has happened, as it comes down the pike. And what rap do I listen to? Well, there's a lot. Everything from the old Snoopy Dogg, yeah, that Snoopy, the Red Baron, that guy, and oh, let's see, uh, NWA, some older stuff, some Sir Mix-a-Lot, some Ice Cube, you know, those type things. That good gangster rap out there. But no, it's not like I listen to rap all day long. I flow through the music. You go through my list. You go through my list of songs, and it goes through everything except country. Like I said, so 1 minute you could be listening to, let's just say Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, something off of their album there, and then you're going to be listening to Five Finger Death Punch, or um, then you'll slip over to Linkin Park, and then you'll slip over to and the new Linkin Park with the female singer. You know, well, I mean, him and Martha Stewart are kicking it at the crib. Whatever. No, like I said, I don't listen to a lot of the new rap stuff that you're throwing out there. So, you know, there are a few songs that catch my attention, and I'll go find them, especially here on TikTok. Um, of course, I listen to Blink 182. You know, because that's part of my era. Of growing up. Blink 182. Just like Finger 11. Just like the list goes on and on of people that I actually listen to. So, but yeah, music is life, man. Music is life. And even if it's the old classics, which those albums that I just held up are the classics now, right there. You know, get you some vinyl, get your record player, and listen to some of those, including some of your rap on vinyl. That gives you a whole new sound. You got to put me on with this generation of music. No, this generation of music doesn't hold a candle to the old generation of music. I'm just saying, you know, just because the stuff today is just thrown out. The stuff even just 8 to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, had a story to it. And I know they say, "Oh no, theirs has a story to it too, as well," and all that good stuff. It's just like, not really, not really. So, um, you're right. Some are classics to be left in the museum. No, they're never left in the museum because I can pinpoint you know, millions of people that still listen to it, and it's still relevant today. You know, whereas some of the music that's today isn't even relevant for today. It's already done. It's already gone. It's a one-hit wonder. You know, and so yeah, it's all fun. It's all fun, fine and dandy. You listen to what you want to listen to. I'll listen to what I want to listen to. And if something new catches my attention, which it does on a regular basis, like I said, through TikTok or through Facebook or whatever, somebody's has some new music coming out, and it's a new band, and even back in the day, there was a lot of one-hit wonders, not just today's society. So No, I like it all. Like I said, I still listen to new relevant music today. It's just not a lot of the rap today, because a lot of the rap today just doesn't even hold a candle to the stuff from the past. And I know you say it does and all that good stuff, but it really doesn't. So, but and we'll have an opinion. We'll have a difference of opinion on that, the 100% the whole time. So, and that's what makes it great, is because you can have your opinion on the music that you like that's relevant to your world today. And I'm the same way. I have my music taste. I have my movies taste. Like I don't do the whole big romance movie stuff. I don't do the whole drama movie stuff. Now, if it's romance in a horror movie, yes. And if it's drama in a horror movie, okay. you know, Give me a horror movie. I haven't found one that's disturbed me yet. You know, and I still sleep at night like a little baby on my pillow after a horror movie. A good slasher flick. All that good stuff. But that's just me. That's my mentality and how I get through life, because horror is life. Most of the time. I'm not saying it's always about horror, science fiction as well. Yeah. Nah, I'd be scared. How can you be scared if you're listening to the new rap of today? How are you going to be scared over a horror movie? You know, if you're listening to the new rap today, that's scary enough. Here, this isn't scary for you. Pick this up. This is my remark on the Demon cover, or Demon box toy right here from McFarlane Toys. And this is my remark that I drew on top of this packaging right here. You can pick this up for yourself. It's not scary at all. This is what the Demon used to look like back in the day. His red and blues, all that good stuff. Or maybe this will scare you a little bit with some Venom remark that I did on this Mecha Venom right here. Yes, this is my artwork. It will be signed by me somewhere on here. It is a one of one. Even if I painted another one like it, it would not be exactly like this one. So that one would be a one of one as well. So there you go. You have your opportunities to get some artwork from me right there. Now, I did get these in the other day, and we talked about them a little bit. But I'm looking forward to drawing on these. So I got these from another fellow artist out there. And these are my blank covers. Not my blank covers, but the blank covers that I'm going to be working on: Batman 66, Optimus Prime, Roll Out! Right there with Optimus Prime. Army of Darkness, Ash Gets Hitched, number 1. So that one's going to be fun. Him getting hitched to a zombie or a vampire. All new X Factor. Looking forward to that one too. And then you have the one that I was really hoping wasn't going to be damaged, but it is. And it is Evil Ernie from Dynamite Entertainment, Chaos Dynamite Entertainment. Right here, as you can see that bend right there. I'm going to have to press it to get it going right there. But Evil Ernie is a cool character. I, kind of wish he was still with Brian Pulido today, but he is not. And they've changed him up completely. I really don't like the new changes they've done to him, but it's not my creation. It's not my character, um, and it's just it doesn't have the same soul that it used to have back in the day, and it's kind of sad that it doesn't have that same soul. Just like music, it doesn't have the same soul that it used to have, and you know, people can agree to disagree, but that's okay. That's why everybody gets their opinion. So, but I appreciate everybody being here, bantering back and forth. It's very awesome. Especially, I mean, when you're talking about music and things like that, or movies, or the comic books and things like that that you remember from back when they came out in the '90s, and then you see this, and it's just like it is just not the same. It 100% is not the same. And but there are some good new stuff out there. when it comes to comic books and movies and things like that. But the sad thing is, when it comes to movies, they just keep rehashing stuff. Let's remake this movie. Let's remake this movie again. Let's remake it a third time, and maybe it'll catch on. And let's throw our own little twist and interpretation into it. It's like, no, come up with your own original idea. How about that? You and it's just like in the author realm when it comes to books coming out and comic books coming out, and so many things get rehashed that it just doesn't make for a good story anymore, you know. And I'm hoping that's where I change some things when it comes to my comic book. 4 issue miniseries. I'm not going to drag it out into this whole 9, 12, 15, 100 issue thing because you see that happen. I saw that happen in the 90s with Image Comics when they came out. Generally, you can count on the first 10 issues being good of any comic book that came out from Image Comics. Once after that, it just became crap. I mean, in reality, they started changing the art direction. They started changing the writing. They started, all this other stuff, and it just kind of went downhill from there. It's like Spawn. Spawn in the '90s was good up until about issue 15, maybe up to 20. Once it got to that point, it just became an art fest. It didn't even become story anymore. They're trying to get back on track with the story at issue number 300, but it's like, what happened? Why can't we continue a story past a certain point? You know, it's because, it's been rehashed. It's been done already, and just makes it difficult to get something new and exciting out there for people to see because they're like, I've seen that before. It's nothing new. It's nothing exciting. Those type of things. And this culture today is one of undisturbed, if you will. Um, I mean, my generation was definitely undisturbed because we grew up on our own. You know, our parents never knew where we were. We could be dead in a ditch somewhere, and they wouldn't know that we were dead in a ditch somewhere until 2 or 3 days later. you know, and I'm like, oh, he never came home last night. Oh, okay, maybe he's at a friend's house. And that's just our generation from the '70s and '80s. And we were always gone from home. It was very rare that we were sitting at home, you know, doing something. And if we were outside. We were never inside, you know. And we weren't in front of a video game. We weren't didn't have our phones in hands like we do today. Even me having my phone on my hand or in my pocket or something like that on a regular basis now. We were outside doing something, and I try to put this stupid thing down on a regular basis. And but ultimately, after you take a small break, you're on your phone. Oh, scrolling, 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 swiping, 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 scrolling, scrolling, swiping, scrolling. All that stuff. And it's just like it gets old and redundant. That's why I kind of wish I was in Alaska. No cell phone service, no internet, all that good stuff. Be out there living off the land 100%, getting water from a creek, from an ice glacier creek, the purest water on the world, you know. But here we are in a house, all this technology, all this new technology, because everything I have is outdated. Phone's outdated, computer's outdated, this microphone's outdated, this this sound card right here is outdated. It's in front of me. My pencils are outdated, even though these are the ones they still make today to draw with. It's outdated. Everything. I mean, as soon as you get a computer from the store, it's already outdated. You know, and it will only upgrade to a certain point. And it's just like right now, the only one I've got that's working right now to the ultimate degree is this one over here. My computer that's sitting over here, and that one is got Windows 11 on it already. This one does not. You know, and my operating system on my iPhone is the highest it can go right now. And pretty soon there will be another update, and it will be rolling out soon, probably within the next few days or so, and we'll see, oh, software update available, all that good stuff. But everything is outdated now. As soon as you get it, it's like, well, what's the next new thing? Well, what's going to happen? Oh, well, I guess we got to get this Android for my house. This robot that's going to clean and cook for us. All that good stuff. The AI stuff, and AI sucks, 100%. And that's why I get restrictions on here periodically because of the whole the things you have to say in a certain way. Just like I have a prevention hotline on my Facebook that I have up on a regular basis on my YouTube, and it's right above my head, and it runs the entire length of my show, and I can't say certain words or key phrases from there because I will get a restriction, or I'll even get knocked off the show. Just like I did the other day when I was running up on an hour and a half on a show one day. The AI that they use thought I said something that I didn't, and boom, my show ended, and I had to appeal my show, saying my show doesn't say any of that stuff. Go back and watch it. Have a human watch it. Well, within seconds, my appeal was overturned, and I was back on live. You know, and it's just like the things that you have to do, the hoops you have to jump through, whereas other people don't. It makes no sense, 100%. And here comes the storm again. Thunder's rolling, and not the Garth Brooks song. You know, ooh, you're toast there, Mr. Fly. Sorry, I just killed the fly, and now I'm finishing him off. So there you go. And so to keep up with technology, you have to fall in line with certain things. Now we're all having to become lemmings again. That was the big thing back in the 90s, into the 90s, early 2000s was lemmings. Even games about lemmings, you know. And it's like, why are we having to conform to everything that this generation wants? You know, I'm not going to conform to it. I'm not going to use AI. I'm not going to use. That's why I refuse to use the new Illustrator or Adobe stuff because it's AI based now. Oh well, let me just type in my key prompt in AI of my Adobe stuff and let it create my artwork for me. No, no. That's why I have all of this right here. Throw in my marker too. That's why I have all this. This is what this is for. This is how you create your artwork. Right there. I'm 61 and old fashioned. The new generation doesn't get me or us. No, 100%. See, I'll be 54 this year. And, yes, I have a lot of younger friends because I worked at Walmart, unfortunately, as an AP, which is that person that follows people around, that creepy person that follows people around and uh, calls the police to get them thrown in jail, because they're shoplifting. So Casey, I get what you're saying. And no, this younger generation does not get the older generation at all. They wouldn't have even survived our generation, to be honest. So you're 61, so you had me by 10 years. So, well, roughly 10 years. Um, so you're born in the 60s. And so that means that, you know, you were before my generation. You were my brother's generation. And, definitely no rules. So I think AI has its negatives and positives. Hold on, I need to read that. Hold on. I think AI has its negatives and positives. It's just a tool, like many other things, in my opinion. No, I get that. 1960, yeah, you're my brother's age, 1964. And so I mean, I get AI has its place, but it doesn't have a place in artwork. It doesn't have a place in writing. Just like Chat GPT, I could care less about that. You know. 38. Cool. See, I'm 54. I'll be 54 in September. So I keep referring to myself as 54 because it's almost here, you know. And you know, the people in their 20s right now would not have survived in the 60s or 70s or even the 80s, you know, because somebody would have got their ass beat 100%. And and it's just like they don't understand that. And like you see all these TikTok things, they're calling out the Generation X and the previous generation and things like that. And it's just like you don't want to do that. You really don't. And because we don't give a shit. You know, I love people, but this new generation is lame. In that all we have available now they don't use. Yeah, 100%. I mean, everybody wants to be on their cell phone. You know, tippity top, tippity top, tippity top. Here I am. Here I am. Oh, oh, wait, hold on. I'll get to you in a second. You know, wait, hold on. Or they might be able to have a conversation. You know, while they're talking on their cell phone too. You know, whatever. And yes, this is going to be the size of cell phones pretty soon. You know, as you're talking. Hello, hi, how you doing? Yeah, all that good stuff. Or it's going to be right here. Yes, how are you doing? I'm Dick Tracy. You know, those type of things. But I mean, we're already at the Dick Tracy era. You know, right here, and the Jetsons era. Even though we don't have the flying cars yet, they're working on that. But then we got to get FAA regulations on the cars, your flight pattern to work, to and from work, and whether you're going to the store or not. And that's going to be a ridiculous nightmare in and of itself when that happens. So, well, hello from North Carolina. Welcome to the show. And we're talking about older generation, newer generation, and all that good stuff in between. Yeah, they get a little confused when cursive comes out, and I get that because uh, we have a logo, or not a logo, a company here in town that's called Camille and Company, and it's in cursive. And some people, I see them trying to figure out what it says, you know, especially if somebody's in their 20s, you know, or something like that. Um, for most, a phone is an extension of the person, almost to the point of cyborg. AI is becoming, or AI is becoming popular. No, I get it. I mean, every technology that you have, computer, be it a desktop or a laptop or your cell phone, no matter which version you've got, has an AI in it somewhere. Cortana, Siri, you know, those type things. And the AI stuff that it actually says is AI, you know, like those Meta sunglasses. I don't know what that is. Augmented reality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you. Sorry, AR. Yes, not AI, but yes, augmented reality. Yeah, yeah. And but the augmented reality came from your cell phone. Samsung is coming out with them as well. Yeah, there's tons of augmented realities out there. It's expensive as heck, you know. Uh, why would you even want that? I'd rather put that money on a car or a motorcycle or my motorcycle parts, you know, for my motorcycle that's in the garage right now, or my girlfriend's bike that's in the garage right now. Yes, we're working on bikes together right now, and people may not want to leave their home, their rooms one day. No, the people are already at that point. That's why you have so many people living in their parents' basement right now. Yes, I remember that movie. The Surrogates, I believe, is what it was called. And it's exactly what's happening today. Yes, we don't have drone delivery here, but I've seen it with the Amazon drone delivery. Walmart tried to get in on that, but they haven't perfected it yet. Um, but it only allows up to so many pounds of a delivery. I think it was something like 12 pounds tops at the most, and I think it actually had to be under 12 pounds. But you know, but yeah, I mean, everything is. made to order now. Oh, I don't want to leave my house because I can get my groceries dropped at my front door. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna do that. Hold on, let me get on my phone and place my order. Okay, no, I want that one, this one, this one. If that's not available, I want this, I want that. Okay, I'm good. Now I can go back to my video games, rotting my brain. Exactly why leave home. Um, Here soon, all them Door Dashers complaining about tips will be obsolete with driverless vehicles. 100%. I mean, you're going to have your drones that you've already got delivering stuff that are taking over for people, and then you're going to have your driverless cars that are going to take away from things. And but the thing is, um, that still is going to if it's a driverless car, you're still going to require somebody to come out of their house and go to the car and pick that stuff out of the car and take it back inside. People don't want to do that. They want it delivered to their door right then and there. So unless this thing has a little robot that comes out of the back end and takes it to the house and drops it on the doorstep and takes a picture of it and says, "Hey, your order's here," and then takes off and gets back in the car, you know, people are still not going to like it. I won't be coming to the curb for my food. Send my robots out to get it. Yeah, exactly. Same with Uber. Yeah, Uber, Lyft. I mean, even your taxi cabs pretty soon are going to be end up being driverless because that's the way of the world. I mean, they've got restaurants that the cooks have already been replaced by robots. You know, I think there's some McDonald's in some states that have that. Um, and then I know there's one restaurant, but I can't remember where it's located right off the top of my head. But it is all automated. There is not a single person except for the owner that has the restaurant that 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 is all automated. There's no workers inside of it except for like a cleaning crew or whatever. But insurance alone will save them lots of investments costs. Well, 100%. I mean, I get that. Stores like that to know people. Yeah, yeah. Stores will be like that. Yeah, yeah. Everything is going that direction right now. I mean, pretty soon, even our own podcast will be, you know, Max Headroom. If you remember Max Headroom from back in the 80s, you know, that's where we are headed, and it's a sad state of affairs. That's why give me Alaska, where I can go be. You know, I don't have to have technology. Give me a wood burning stove. Um, give me my axe. Excuse me. Give me my axe. Give me my chainsaw. Give me my dogs out in the wilderness. My girlfriend, and all that stuff. So it's scary for some people. I don't know if you know about instruction of vehicles from horse introduction for vehicles to horse. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that was almost my era. I mean, that's my great grandmother. Let's take her. She came over on a horse and buggy, in 1900. So, yes, you're older than I am. But no, technology is taking over 100%. I mean, there's no way to get around it. Unless we have an EMP that goes off and takes out all of electricity, you know, then people are going to be, if that were to ever happen, people are going to be screwed, you know, because they've got no skills to rely on, or a huge solar flare. They will have nothing to rely on. They have nothing to fall back on. They would have no skill because all of their skill is right here on this keyboard, and in this computer, you know. Well, my channel is not AI, so nothing I do here is AI. All this is my own original artwork. If you're up here looking right there, it's just like my newest cover for the job number 3, hand painted right here, one of one right there is what that tells you. But this is all hand painted, no AI generation here, right there. You can pick up this cover at legacycomics.com, and it's in PDF form right now. It comes out in the summer, this summer, which is like real soon. So, of course, I drew that. I painted that. You know, Here's another one that I drew. This was a fun one. A military buddy of mine was like, "Hey, I need a Sasquatch flipping people off," and here it is. You know. But yes, this is what I do. I'm an illustrator. I'm an artist. I'm also an actor and a voice actor. So, well, I appreciate that. Data Savage Cactus, or Dat Savage Cactus. Sorry, that's badass. Much appreciated. I'm trying to catch up on some of the stuff. So music too and books. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying. With AI, there's books, there's music, there's comic books, there's movies, and all kinds of things done in that, and it's just wrong in my opinion because you can technically tell when something is done in AI. I mean, artwork in particular, because it all has a same look for the most part, and you can tell if somebody's using it too because you can look at their artwork previous to them becoming famous now. And Hobby Lobby and stuff is already selling BS AI canvas. Yeah, 100%. And that's why I make canvas prints of my work. This is one. Let me show you some others real fast. Let me take the headphones off, and you're still going to be able to hear me here, but not. I mean, you'll still be able to hear me here too. You can hear me right now. Pulling out some of my canvas stuff right here that I've got sitting at the back of the room. Show you some of that. What I deem to be the more cool stuff that I've got here. All right. So put the headphones back on. Yeah, check the hands because they usually have 6 or more fingers. AI hands are bad. I mean, everything's kind of bad with AI. So here's another painted piece right here. My Venom piece. This glows in the dark and glows in black light, so it's very awesome and very cool. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and put my 101 sticker on the back because I don't have it on this one. Dun, dun, dun. Right there, right down the middle, down Broadway. But this glows under black light, all hand done. It's already sealed and ready for your house, so get it while you can. And then we've got the Joker, one of my favorites, right here. It already has the sticker on the back, so that's cool. This was one of my favorites. The other one that I had, which had him looking down with a maniacal laugh that I painted out here that keeps on going. Where how do you want to know how I got these scars? Right there. This one I love it, but I'm looking for a new home for it as well. So if you're interested, just hit me up. These are 12 by 16 canvases on those. There, right there. Okay. Now let's move over to my 16 by 20 canvas of Mr. Chester Bennington. This is almost life size because I can put my hands on here and they're practically the same size, as his hands. So this thing is pretty much life size right there. So that one's been a fan favorite, but no one's bought the original yet. And then if you're into Dexter, 18 by 24 monstrosity of a piece right here. Mr. Dexter himself with his little knife right before he, dispenses his justice on the evildoers of the world as a serial killer, of course. I guess I need to say serial schmiller instead of the other word, but there you go. Well, I appreciate that, but that's what I do. I mean, that's what I do. That's why I have my channel. It talks about all my artwork, and just like that Venom you already saw, here's a remark I did on a Mech Venom number 995. Is that what it is? 994. This is my remark that I painted on here. Right there. But I do remarks on figures. I do custom commissions. So if you're looking for something out there, I play music, multiple instruments. Do you play? I used to, back in the day. Any Spawn? Actually, I did a Gunslinger Spawn. That comic book sold. I did a blank cover. What I mean by blank cover is one of these, and I draw Spawn on here or whatever you want. And I've done Spawn before. I don't have any Spawn right here right now. I used to play music, but I was in a band in high school. But no, I don't play any instruments anymore. My girlfriend plays the guitar. She doesn't play so much anymore, like she wants to or wanted to, because she doesn't have the time for it per se. So, but yeah, Alex, if you want to Spawn, hit me up. I have some blank comic books of King Spawn and Spawn number one, a reprint of Spawn number one from 1992. And then I've also got Spawn Universe, maybe. So I've got several different covers to blank covers for Spawn. Behind you, there's a lady in light. Yes. What is that? May I see? Okay, that one is not mine. That one is by a famous person. um, Give me just 1 second. I'll grab it. This one is by someone super famous who made Brandon Lee famous. And if you know where I'm going with that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This artist is Mr. James O'Barr. And if you know that name, and if you know who that is, Mr. James O'Barr is the creator of The Crow. Not that stupid movie that came out with Skarsgård in it, but The Crow, the original. The comic books still sell for amazingly high prices. This is what he called or dubbed his Tiny Dancer, and it was done back in 2009. I bought it off of eBay, and he actually hand wrote a note with it that said he appreciated the purchase because nobody buys good girl art anymore. Because at that was the coming of the end of the bad girl era per se. The 90s, the mid 90s into the early 2000s was the bad girl era, and he was trying something different, you know. So this is his Tiny Dancer, Mr. James O'Barr. It is an original. I actually didn't pay that much for it off of eBay. I was kind of surprised. But again, he put a written note in with it, and it's very awesome. So this is an original piece from James O'Barr, and I love it. That's why I bought it. Back in the day, and my ex mother in law now, she was like, "Oh, that's just soft porn." It's just like, no, it's not. It's not even porn. Period. Porn at all. And so she had her opinion on different things. Just like we all do. And I can't say that word or I get restricted, so I've got to say corn. You know, James O'Barr. Yes, James O'Barr. It's a James, an O with an apostrophe, and then bar, two R's, or yeah, two R's. And look him up. It's the Crow creator. Um, if you know the story of the Crow, the movie with Brandon Lee, it started out as a comic book, very popular comic book back in the day. And it actually didn't become popular until after the movie, in reality. And then those that had the original comic books from the original publisher, those skyrocketed. I mean, they're still high to find. You're looking at $500 or $600 for a comic book, and that's a low end number, especially if it's in mint condition. So, you know, I've got a $10,000 comic book sitting here at the house, you know, and that's just me. A Hulk 181, Incredible Hulk 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine, and it's in like a 7 point or an 8.0 condition if I go and get it graded. So, but yes, James O'Barr, he's done a lot of cool stuff. Um, he The Crow was his big claim to fame, and then that's pretty much all he is really known for. He's done a bunch of other stuff for different companies. He's done a few covers for Marvel and things like that, but The Crow was his blossoming point. Was his creator owned entity that he came out with about his and his wife's tragic beginnings. And so, oh, no problem. It is not a problem. And the other stuff that's sitting back there are other artists that I've got as well. Most of them are originals. The only ones that I've paid for are these right here. These are Ken Hunt's. Right there. Boom, 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 boom. It's a Wolverine. It's actually Hulk, Batman, and Wolverine. And then this one, the James O'Barr, was the other one I paid for. And then some of these back over here in this corner over here, I paid for. But the rest of them I got in the 90s at different conventions when I didn't have to pay for autographs or sketches from people. Because like that middle one behind me or at the top is a Stephen Hughes, the Lady Death creator, or not creator. He was the artist for Lady Death with Brian Paluto, and he passed away in the early or late 90s. And some Disney art's okay. I'm not a big Disney fan, and I mean, as far as certain things, oh, shut up, you piece of junk. There's certain things that I like Give Me Sword in the Stone, you know, an older movie with Disney. But a lot of this new stuff, I could care less. Just like the new Lilo and Stitch getting ready to come out, the live action. Who cares? It's like the live action Little Mermaid. It's like the live action uh, Snow White. It's like any of the live action stuff that they do. I could care less. Give me some of the old stuff. Um, give me the original Snow White. Give me those type things. Yeah, and just the artwork alone. Give me the Sword in the Stone type artwork from Disney. That was phenomenal. Um, and I know personally a Disney artist from back in the day, and he's a friend of mine, and he actually lives not too far from me, and we chit chat on a semi regular basis. And he used to do some of the sequential artwork for Disney um, back in the 60s or 70s, I think, and so he's got stories to tell, you know. And I do not like all their artwork, no, but that's just me. I have my taste. Like Frank Frazetta, The Prisoner of the Horned Helmet, uh, Jack Kirby, some of the early works of Jack Kirby, Jim Lee, Jolly. I mean, the list goes on and on. I have influences, you know. Peanuts creator Schultz. Yeah, I like his stuff, and it's very. He created a world on shaky lines, and that paved the way for a lot of other artists. If you get my drift, just like Davis with Garfield, just like what was the other one? The Family Circus. Those type things. I like that guy who drew currency, like as in money currency, or something else, or is that another cartoon that I'm not sure about currency. Currency, I'm not sure about. Or take Little Abner, or yes, money. See, that guy should have never even got into drawing currency. But no, those people were phenomenal when it came down to drawing the money, that we still use today, for the most part, as they're trying to push us towards cryptocurrency, you know, at every corner, every turn. But yes, no, those are some phenomenal artists right there, especially back in the day. And then the person that had to create the plate, the original plates back in there. And now they just changed the date on it, and still use. I mean, now they've changed the bill, how it looks, and all that stuff. But, the original originals, back in the day. Yeah, it was amazing. They were phenomenal artists. I mean, 100%. They're very cool. But on that note too, some mural painters don't do their own work. They hire a bunch of college students, artists, to paint their mural on the wall using their schematic. I see it here in town in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They have what's called the I can't remember think what it's called right now, but we've got murals all over Fort Smith, Arkansas, and some of the people that drew the art for the contest or for the to be put as a mural actually do their own work. But then there's others that outsource and say, hey, let's make this time efficient and get this done within 3 days or something like that. And I have a great respect for them because you're taking your let's just say I put this on a wall somewhere. Someone is taking this from this size and now it's going up on a wall, out there in the world, for people to see. And so any small mistake on that grand of a scale, you're going to see. Now you might not see it right off the bat because you're looking at the artwork as a whole, especially at a distance. But as soon as you get up close, you're going to start seeing some flaws. But that's neither here nor there because it looks great, from a distance. So, wow. The questions I get, I am not Otis. I am not Opie. I am not Danny Bonaducci. I am not Bansky. Those type things. I've been referred to those, and I'm not Boris Becker either. You know, I've been referred to all of those. I mean, I wish I was that famous, 100%. Yes, namely, he drew currency. Yes, Bansky is one of those graffiti artists out there that is very. He's got some cool stuff. I've looked him up because people have referred to me as him many a times. This is like the fourth or fifth time, right here. So pickleball must be stopped, and you are the person to stop it. Okay, I didn't know pickleball was a problem. You know, I mean, I'm sure some people would say basketball or baseball needs to be stopped too. The great American pastime. And take me out to the ball game. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever come back. Those type things. But yeah, I didn't know pickleball was a problem. That's amazing. But to each their own. I mean, you can start a petition if you want and go protest pickleball. I don't know how many signatures you'll get out there, but how about the masters? Who you like? Oh, you talking about Renaissance? You talking about? I mean Monet, Dali. Um, of course, you go into your greats farther back, and I could pull out my whole book that I've got in my library on the Renaissance masters. You know, Da Vinci, especially just for his technology. That he came up with or invented or tried to invent back in the day. Balloons and flight and all kinds of stuff. Um, but I mean, do you want to go back to Aristotle? Do you want to go? I mean, where we want to end here? Um, and then then it comes down to how about you know alien or spiritual being? When it comes down to the final frontier chapter there. That's why we don't talk about religion or politics here. Um, I mean, I like so many different ones. I mean, even this guy, Mr. Bob Ross, is an inspiration in some ways. Him hiding his bodies out there, in his paintings, telling us where they're at. I'm kidding. That's just a conspiracy theory. but no, I mean, when it comes to just some of the old and even I mean Patrick Nagel will always be one of my favorites, and he's not one of the masters, okay, but he's one of my favorite artists, hands down, 100%. That's cool. Yeah, PBS 100%. Yeah, and his stuff is still on there today. They still do the Bob Ross hour or whatever it is, and but yeah, no, artwork is just phenomenal. I mean, Norman Rockwell. Look at his stuff that he's done over the years. My stuff is good, and I've got talent, but my stuff will never be that good, you know. And maybe one day, it will be. I mean, Van Gogh, um, uh, what the freak's the other guy's name? Picasso. You know, he sold one piece of artwork in his life of his own, and he sold it for like I can't remember. It was some astronomical low amount, you know. And now his paintings are worth tens of millions of dollars today, and he never saw a penny of that, you know. And that's what's going to happen to me. No one's going to know my name until I die, and then all this artwork that I've got sitting around here is going to go boom, explode, and people are going to want it, you know. But yeah, Michelangelo, yeah, 100%. I mean, just take the turtles: Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, you know, so on and so forth. And uh, and that's my girlfriend's favorite turtle right there, Michelangelo. So that's where they got their name for the turtles. Just FYI, was off of the great masters of paintings. You know, and Raphael. That's the last one I didn't put up. But yeah, no, that's artwork shapes the world, and now everybody thinks they're an artist because I've got Chat GPT or I've got an AI program and things like that, and it's just like photographers. Let's do that. Before it used to be film camera, and then it became digital camera, and now it became I'm a photographer because I've got a cell phone and I can do all this stuff on it. You know, and it's to each their own. And do you know why the turtles had to go with color coordinated headbands? Masks that they wore because in the original comic book they were all red. They were all Raphael color, even though they had their different weapons. It's so kids could differentiate them easier. That's why. That's the whole reason why. I mean, Eastman and Laird created the Turtles, and it was not a children's comic book at all. It was bloody. It was violent. Um, I'm pretty sure there was some cussing in there too. And but then kids started liking, hey, it's turtles. It's Ninja Turtles. They're fighting turtles, you know. And so then they were like, well, if we're gonna go that route, then we need to put different colors to their masks so that kids can tell them apart. Because it was a black and white comic with red, you know, on the covers and things like that. I mean, it was full color covers, black and white interior with some red, those type things. So it was very cool, cutting edge back in the day, if you will. And to think these guys were doing it with Sharpies, black Sharpie markers for the most part. Uh, but yeah, no, it's all art shapes something out there, and everybody loves art to a point. You get some people that hate art, 100%, and they could care less, and they'll never buy a piece of artwork from anybody except for something that is bought at Walmart, or Hobby Lobby or something like that. So, um, I'm not a big abstract fan. I will paint abstract, and I have painted abstract before, but it's just not my favorite forte. I like doing faces and portraits and things of that nature. That's why I, you know, um, do family portraits for people, including their animals in there as well. But that's just me. I'm not a big abstract fan because I just don't understand it. I'll go to a museum and be like, well, what does this represent? What is going on here? And it's just like, well, hell, I can do that. I can go home and and paint a big circle with some drips coming off of it, and call it good and call it a day, and hopefully it sells for $10,000 and be done. But I haven't been there yet. I haven't sold a $10,000 painting yet. Although I want to, because that would be awesome. None of my stuff is worth that. I mean, I do have an $8,000 painting at my house that I'm working on. It is my life size Boba Fett. It is 8 foot tall by 4 foot 8 inches wide. So, but yeah, the whole painting is a hand stretched canvas. It's sitting out in my workout room right now because I have no room in the house to work on it. But you know, but yeah, that's my most expensive painting to sell right now. How about Warhol selling that stuff? I hated Warhol. Let's just be real. I hated Warhol. He was so simplified with his stuff. I hated Warhol. The Campbell soup cans and the Superman and the Marilyn Monroe, just a sepia tone difference on each picture. You know, different color and just it technically was just a print that he made. You know, and he made thousands of dollars off of his stuff. You know, and yeah, completely strange. I mean, but people love Warhol. People love the factory. You know, that's what he called his art studio where he lived and everything like that. And he was rudimentary, 100%. I mean, his stuff wasn't good at all, but people loved it. You know, people love my stuff, but they won't buy it. That's why I'm still holding on to the Joker. You know, if someone truly loved it like they did my first one, it would already be in somebody else's hands. You know, 100%. And the Venom, the same way. Again, it glows in the dark and glows under black light. It looks awesome. Looks phenomenal. And the one on the figure, the action figure, does not glow in the dark, but it looks cooler than that one because it's not painted. I mean, it is painted, but it's not painted. It's paint markers up there. So, you know, and it's just cool. I like it. I mean, I like all my artwork, but I really want it to be in somebody else's hands. And I know that's how some of the masters felt as well. You know, and I've done a lot of landscapes for my parents. I've done a lot of John Wayne for my parents. Hold on just a second. I'm listening. The animals aren't awake yet, so yes. I mean, especially if you go with a Thomas Kincaid, the Master of Light. You know, he has got some phenomenal work out there. No one will ever touch his work, in my opinion, um, just because of the way he painted stuff. I mean, very very awesome details in all of it. And but there's everybody has a talent. Thomas Kincaid, uh, look him up. Master of Light is what he basically what people dubbed him as. He did a lot of landscape scenes and town scenes and things like that. But it's a very stylized work. Uh, One of the great painters of our generation. And without going, I mean, you can go look him up. It's really easy to find any of Thomas Kincaid work out there, and it's not hard to find his stuff at all. So, um, but a phenomenal painter, hands down. He even did some DC and Marvel, or no, it was basically DC comic stuff out there as well. He did a Superman piece, a Batman piece, and a Wonder Woman piece. I think that's the only three he did, but I could be wrong, and there could be another one out there. But he did those three pieces for DC at some point in time in his style, you know, and it was very cool, very phenomenal to see those come to life. Except for the Superman one, I could care less about Superman. And yes, the Dutch painters are awesome. The merchant paintings, yeah, they're very cool. There's so many cool artwork pieces out there that people just don't take the time to look at artwork anymore. I mean, to find a Patrick Nagel, let's go that route. You would have had to have gone to Playboy, you know, because that's where most of his artwork became famous. Uh, and it wasn't that he was showing a bunch of breastages out there, but his style was just phenomenal. Um, 80s nostalgia work. I don't know where I put that piece, or I'd pull it. I've got a sunglasses advertisement from Patrick Nagel here in the house, and yeah, 100%. War destroyed a lot of artwork, but a lot of it was also looted and stolen and taken to other countries. Uh, Only to be found years later. Not all of it, but some of it. And on that token, you know, I mean, they've even made movies about that. So all of it will be found eventually, 100%. But it's just when and how. You know, is it going to be found, and in what condition at that point in time? So, but yeah, unfortunately, war has destroyed a lot. You know, and that's why Memorial Day, you get those soldiers that didn't make it home, and I salute them as they paved the way for me to join the military at an old fart's age. I was 33 when I joined the military, but I still saw my share of action in Afghanistan with IED and firefights that we got into. Oh, I go to museums all the time. We have one here. We have several here in Arkansas. You know that I visit, and then Oklahoma City with the Cowboy Heritage Western Museum there, which has some awesome, phenomenal talent hanging in there. The Crystal Bridges up in Northwest Arkansas has some phenomenal talent. The Ram here in Fort Smith has some awesome talent. And I haven't been to the Louvre yet, but I want to make that trip to the Louvre over there. Oh, very cool. My next door neighbor used to live in Maine from Arkansas, and then she moved back to Arkansas, which I don't understand that. But anyway, um, but yeah, no, I was from Oklahoma City back in the day. Moved out. Last time I lived in Oklahoma was 2010 when I moved over here to Fort Smith. You know, uh, from Shawnee, Oklahoma. So I lived in Bethany, Oklahoma, just outside of Oklahoma City. Bethany, War Acres, Oklahoma City, and then Yukon further out. But but that's how where I live. Will Rogers World Airport, very nice, very nice. I used to be in that area, not like on a regular basis, because about it was the late '90s, mid '90s when I used to drive around those areas all the time, just because. What else did you have to do in Oklahoma City? You know, and it's I just hate driving Oklahoma City downtown area and stuff like that because of all the one way streets. I know everywhere's got one way streets. Little Rock is the worst when it comes to it. Little Rock driving sucks big time. So, but yeah. Ah, I love the Sam Noble and Norman OU. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, OU was my or Norman was my one of my stomping grounds, as well as Noble, Oklahoma, as well as Shawnee, Oklahoma. I Watauga, Kingfisher, Durant, so on and so forth. Yes, the dinosaur. Yeah, at the Sam Noble. 100%. I actually did a art piece for that back in the '90s when I was going to a technical college, and it was at the opening of the entryway. I had a raptor running in space with an astronaut that said, "Houston, we've got a problem here," and it was for their uh, for their art show that they were doing at the time, and so that was kind of cool for it to be at the entryway as you're walking in. That's the very first piece of artwork you got to see from a young talent like myself. Good old Trail of Tears. We have several Trails of Tears here in Arkansas. One right next to me on a street next to me. So Cowboy Hall of Fame, yeah, that big old statue that they saved from the river. It was plaster, and they saved it and moved it. So yeah, that statue, very awesome. Well, all right, folks, that has been a great show, and I appreciate Casey. If you haven't followed me, please do so. And Alex, if you're still here, I don't know if you are or not, but go ahead and follow me. If you don't, I will go ahead and follow you. But I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I've got animal chores to get ready to kick off and take care of, and some artwork to get done and take care of as well. So if you guys are interested in some artwork, please hit me up and we'll talk. And maybe I can do you an abstract, Casey. I do work on layaway as well. But as I like to say, and again, I thank each and every one of you. Please don't thank a soldier today. Thank the family of the fallen, and go visit the grave if you're able to of a fallen soldier, because those are the ones that gave the ultimate sacrifice for today. For you to have that cookout, that beer, that whatever, I will be pouring a shot out for my fallen comrades that I was in war with in Afghanistan, and you're welcome. And I'll be pouring a shot out for them, just because they did not come back. They gave the ultimate sacrifice, and go enjoy your Memorial Day as best as you can. Some of us will be remembering our fallen comrades at arms. So I salute them 100%. And as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.